Wow, Recur just had their best drop yet, in my opinion. I just want to talk about this here. Let's get into this. Okay, so this channel isn't necessarily very big on Recur. I do have a Recur pass. I bought that a long time ago, somewhere around $300 or $250, something like that. I haven't been on there much because I'm not interested in anything that they've dropped so far or been a part of. The Star Trek was the first one where I thought maybe, but I decided not to because I'm just not a Star Trek fan. And then they have this Nickelodeon drop coming out, and I thought, yes, this is the one I want to get. I want to get a Rugrats. I want to get a Tommy Pickles. That's the one that I want to get. I was going to go for it, but I went on vacation, had no internet connection to be able to go for this, unfortunately. But man, did it do well. Currently the floor price is somewhere around $200, and this is a Lil DeVille, and I think this is great. I wouldn't have really wanted a Hey Arnold one. I did watch Hey Arnold growing up only when it was on, but Rugrats was my thing, and I would have loved to have gotten a Rugrats thing. And especially since they drew out what is going to be happening with this, you're going to be able to, depending on the rarity of what you get, you're going to be able to trade it in for slime. If you get 10 slime, you're going to be able to trade that in for some sort of a mashup where you get two characters, one from Rugrats, one from Hey Arnold, and it's some sort of mashup. And there's only a very limited number of those mashups available and a very limited number of slime available. I think it's like 5,000 slime and 500 mashups. So those are going to be very, very rare. I believe each character has about 500 editions as well, but each of these are one of ones. So the background's different, their pose is different, their whatever accessory they have is different. So that's what adds to that rarity. And I think that's really following along with this NFT culture and what we've seen with certain drops and certain NFTs, especially dropped on OpenSea. So obviously that is what Recur is really going for, is those one of ones, depending on certain factors that are changed with those characters, and still keeping that edition number there as well. So something to add to that rarity if you get a lower edition number. Now this isn't really something that I'm super, looking for, these 2D collectibles and the different poses and different whatever that goes along with this. I'm more interested in what Veve is doing in these premium digital collectibles, 3D, even 2D things that they've got going on, even though they aren't one of ones. And we're going to talk about that in another video, what Veve can do with theirs to create one of ones and all the speculation that goes along with this. But this is specifically Recur and what they've done with this Nickelodeon drop here. Now, first things first, it's important to think about why this was so successful. And successful meaning it actually sold out, and it is going for above retail, above $50 that you would have paid for one of these. And I actually don't know when it sold out because I missed this drop. And there was a Recur Pass holder whitelist, and then the next day there was a Recur Pass holder public sale. So if you have a Recur Pass, you would have gotten in on that public sale. And then there was a actual public sale, I believe, the next day or maybe a couple days after that. So holding a Recur Pass has some value to it with these drops, and we've seen Recur Passes go up in price because of this and because of the demand with this Nickelodeon thing. So obviously Recur is moving towards a wider audience with this, and obviously the Star Trek drop didn't do like this. It didn't do so well. Currently, the floor price on those are somewhere around $100 for that. So why did the Star Trek drop not do as well as the Nickelodeon drop? The Star Trek drop didn't even sell out. Something around 3,000 only sold of 10,000. The initial drop for the Recur Pass public holders did sell out. I think that was about 5,000. So that did not do as well as we've seen with this Nickelodeon drop. Now, first off, the Star Trek drop was $250. That has probably something to do with it not selling out, and it is selling for less than that retail and about half of what one of these Nickelodeon would cost you in the aftermarket right now. So Why did Star Trek not do so well? Maybe it has to do with that $250 list price. They still have one of ones with them, with the background changing or with something changing with the ship, and there's still some sort of roadmap ahead with the usage of those Star Trek collectibles as well, even though that hasn't quite played out yet. But there are characters that you're going to be able to purchase for your ship. There are planets that you're going to be able to purchase. So there is some sort of roadmap, much like there is for this Nickelodeon one. And one could even argue even further than this Nickelodeon one, even more utility with this Nickelodeon one. So it's got to come down to IP, I think. It's got to be what was offered. The Rugrats and Hey Arnold outperformed Star Trek for some reason, which is really interesting. I would have thought Star Trek would have a bigger fan base into collectibles, into digital collectibles, than something like Nickelodeon. But obviously Nickelodeon really played off of the nostalgia of perhaps the typical audience, the typical demographic that would be collecting NFTs, and that's probably what played into this, as opposed to a Star Trek, probably an older audience into Star Trek. Star Trek, I don't think, and in my opinion, has really grown that 90s baby audience and into the 2000s, and Nickelodeon just has that. I grew up watching Rugrats and Hey Arnold, and I'm the typical demographic that is starting to get the disposable income to invest into NFTs, so that probably played a really big factor into that. And I'm not a fan of Star Trek at all. I'm a Star Wars fan, so perhaps that really, the Nickelodeon really played into the demographic that is really into collecting NFTs right now, and just the nostalgia behind that really made people go for this and what they can do with their NFTs beyond this, in getting your slime and getting your reward beyond the slime as well. So perhaps all of that played into it. This has been a good boost for Recur. It's great to see that Recur is coming out with something that is going above retail, and it not necessarily has to go above retail. This is for those speculators that want it to go above retail. It's all about collecting, really, and hoping you get some sort of rarity that is going to allow you to flip it in the future, or maybe these go up in price in the future. It'll be interesting what happens after the slime trade-in and after the reward beyond that trade-in happens for that mashup. What happens to these floor prices? Where do they go from here? Perhaps it has something to do with Recur. You're able to bring your NFTs over to OpenSea, but honestly, even right now in OpenSea, they're trading below what the prices are with the marketplace on Nickelodeon.xyz. Even though OpenSea was trading above that, I don't think that that's the major factor here. I think that the major factor is the demographic, the perfect demographic for that NFT collector, and the nostalgia behind Nickelodeon rather than Star Trek. It's a bit more difficult to compare this to something like Veve or something like Hero, but I will be releasing a video beyond this that kind of tackles that and what Veve and Hero could do to kind of match what Recur has done here in a bear market. For something to go above retail is very rare, and obviously this spoke to a great audience. But I'd love to know your thoughts, your opinions on this in the comments section below. Do you agree with anything that I had to say? Do you disagree with anything I had to say? I will be talking more about Veve in comparison to this, so we're just sticking to Recur in this conversation, really. And what are your thoughts, your comments in the comment section below? Like this video if you found it helpful for whatever reason, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you so much for watching.